Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Brahma Viharas. I don't know if that term means anything to anyone, but it's a Buddhist. It's the four immeasurables. Maybe you've heard it as that, or my favorite way of describing it is the four divine abidings. And I like that because when you abide in something, you're at home, you're there, and it's a dwelling place, and it's really the four principles that we want to dwell in our mind as often as possible through the day, the four keepsakes for our mind to hang on to for good living. And so much of our world is fractured right now in the social fabric, the way that our social contracts used to be have kind of unraveled a little bit in our nation. And I think if we can learn to cultivate the four abidings within us, it can restore a lot of it. We can do our little part to restore some of that social fabric back together again. So the four immeasurables are compassion. So compassion, is just the presence and the response to suffering, the way we are able to be present and available to support someone who is suffering. And then when we are compassionate, when we feel compassion well up within us, everybody has different ways of reacting to being in compassionate presence. But one of the things that it does for all of us is that it helps us see the other as human, that we have this human connection, that we see ourselves in another person. And it also can stimulate a lot of gratitude too. So when you are with someone who is suffering, it makes you aware of your abundance and your strengths, your ability to feel the ease in your life and the beauty in your life. And compassion is difficult. It's not always so easy, especially if you're surrounded by suffering a lot. You can get compassion fatigue. And I think all of us have had a little bit of this world, when you are constantly checking in with the news. So a lot of times, in order to cultivate this immeasurable, in order to abide in the mind in a compassionate presence, we need to know boundaries. We need to know when we are depleted and needing to turn that compassion on ourselves so that we can fill and open our heart to others again. The next of the four is loving kindness. And this also just deepens our respect for our fellow man, and really for all beings, not just human beings. That when we have loving kindness, we are in a state of grace that is both self-respecting and as well as respecting of others. And I think a lot of this gets lost when we have the either or, the black or white thinking, I'm right, you're wrong thinking, that we lose the thread. That's, a little bit of how this social fabric starts to rip apart, is when we forget to have respect and kindness, loving kindness toward our fellow people. So the next of them is sympathetic joy. And this I've talked about, and all these are in the Yoga Sutra too, but sympathetic joy is the ability to be so joyful and happy for those who perhaps you are envious of. So can you feel joy for the person who got the promotion and not you? Can you feel a sense of, awesome, I'm so happy for you, when somebody else has something that you would like to have for yourself? Whether it's a thing or a relationship or whatever else, can you honestly offer your sense of deep appreciation and gratitude and joy for another being, even when there's a tug of jealousy there? And then the last of the four abidings is equanimity. And this is the sense of, seeing each other, all beings, as equal, as well as detaching from a sense of control over a circumstance or a relationship, kind of losing our attachment to past or future. When we have equanimity, we're deeply in the present moment at ease. And that state, we understand that we are in the fabric, that we can't be unwoven, that we are deeply and intimately interconnected with all beings on the planet. So if we can cultivate compassion and loving kindness and sympathetic joy and equanimity, it really dispels a lot of the human potential for ill will and discord and the painful emotions that we can all have. So how can you practice this for yourself? Maybe choose one for a week and just say, I'm going to develop my sense of compassion for this next week, and whether it's for the birds or for the bees or for the people or whatever. Can you gather and support and cultivate your sense of compassion to be in presence with others suffering? So you can choose one of them to kind of work on for a while, so that you really start to know the sensations of sympathetic joy and loving kindness and compassion and equanimity. So, in order to hold these things, we need to care for ourselves. So, first and foremost, we need to have those conditions facing inward, so that our well is full and able to expand outward. So, for a moment, close your eyes and sit up straight and tall and just come into the presence of this moment. So, depending on what your morning has been, can you be here now? Are you tired? Are you energized? Are you fretting about something in the mind or calm? How's your physical body feeling? How is your emotional body feeling? How about your mental body? And as you start to feel yourself in presence with your body, drop down into the seat that you're holding. Feel the spaciousness for breath. Relax your skin. And let's just turn a little bit of these four abidings, four immeasurables, right in upon ourselves. So, what can you hold compassion for inside yourself? Is there a bit of suffering that you're experiencing right now? Maybe it's a lot today, maybe it's a little, but can you hold a sense of deep compassion, open heart, the tender heart, the I know and I share and I can hold that feeling of your suffering? So hold it for yourself. Make space around it. Give it room to move and be free. And the next, loving kindness. How are your self thoughts? Are you kind to yourself in your thinking, or do you berate yourself? Should have done that, could have done that, wish I had done that. What is the self talk? And can you offer something kind to yourself? Say something nice about yourself to yourself. Can you feel self respect? What does it feel like in the body to have self respect? And then moving on to sympathetic joy. This is really a practice that's geared toward being happy for others. Let's be happy for ourselves. What's going well in your life? What part of your body feels so healthy right now? Maybe it's just one little tiny part of you that you can focus on and have deep joy and happiness. And then lastly, can you offer equanimity? What does it feel like in your body to be at ease, to be here, to be now? Detaching yourself from expectations or results, even detaching yourself from regrets or the past, just right now. Place your palms together at your heart and bow in. Be thankful for the health in your body to practice, the health in your mind to practice. And then let's release our hands and come down onto your back. So as you set an intention for your practice, maybe it's about cultivating one of these Brahma Viharas. Maybe it has something to do with something else. So just know that your practice is this time for you. Nobody else, just time for you. All right, and then let's go ahead and let your limbs relax on the floor. See if you can melt and feel that sense of ease. Let's start to invite movement when you're ready. Perhaps ease needs to last longer and you need to not move for a little bit. But if you're ready to move, stretch your arms overhead and come into the spaciousness of the rims of your body. So stretching right side, stretching left side, coming into a lot of openness, a wakefulness. Bring some joy into this. Does it feel joyful to stretch and move your body, even if something hurts? And then let's bring the knees into the chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And then circle the knees one time, one direction, or a few times one direction, and then a few times another direction. And then knees open and knees closed, swinging through the range of motion in your hip joints. Stay connected to your breath, to the length of your spine. And then let's bring the right knee into the chest and stretch your left leg long on the floor. And roll around your feet and ankles. Wake up those bare feet. Give joy to your feet. And then let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg long on the floor. Let's sense into the compression as well as the extension and feel your feet and be joyful as well. Doesn't it feel good to be free in your feet? Get them all shoes off and let them wake up a little bit. And then stretch your limbs out. Starfish your body, long spine. Exhale, draw the knees in. This time your head comes up too. Take a breath, extend, spread out your limbs. Exhale, knees into your chest. Come rolling onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Find your way into some cat-cows. So as we start to move, can you feel the yielding presence through your hands and your shins? Give yourself over to the earth and receive from it. Feel that connection. So you're not even isolated from the earth itself, let alone being isolated from our fellow beings. Let's go ahead and move through the spine, arching and rounding the back. And then feel free to adjust this posture any way you want to. Do you want to sway through your hips? Do you want to circle? Move your spine around any which way feels nice to you. Let your shoulders, your ribs, your pelvis all find their movement patterns along with your spine. And then let's anterior tilt the pelvis, lift and widen the sit bones and drop your femur bones back into the hip joints. Stretch your arms out in front if you're able. Take a position that makes your shoulders feel comfortable. If straight out arms doesn't feel good, try a different vector of movement. Thumbs up, palms up, arms wider, elbows bent. See what's available. Breathe into the base of the skull and let that breath travel down the whole spine and breathe into the base of the tail. Let's walk the hands over to the left side of the mat and open the right rib cage. And it's okay if your knees don't come anywhere near your heels. You can still stretch through your side body here and open your ribs up. And let's come back to center and find the other side, lengthening through the rib cage here. Relax your head, breathe. And then come back to center. Come up onto all fours. Have a moment to move around your spine again.
And then ground your hands. If you tend to lean into the outer wrists for arm balancing, see if you can ground through the index finger mounds too, and find your way up onto your hands, dog pose. All right, so pedal around. Move your hands, move your feet, bend your knees, whatever feels good. See if you can wake up the legs a little bit, relax your head. Find the breath in, find the breath out. Relax the base of your skull. Melt into the inversion. Sometimes when we go upside down, we have a little more introspection capacity. See what it feels like to keep offering compassion for any part of your body or mind that is struggling. Can you offer compassion? Can you send loving embrace? For any part of your self-talk that is a little bit off in kindness, can you return to saying something kind? Walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana, fold in half, bend your knees, sway around in your hips. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine grows, hands can be on thighs or shins or blocks. Does it feel good to be in your body right now? Okay. As you welcome yourself home inside of yourself, we're building capacity to hold these equanimity and loving kindness and compassion and joy for others. But first we must start with ourselves. Bend your knees, fold down, press up, rise up, arms up to the sky, lean back a little bit. Open the breath, stretch open your chest, cactus arms, and then release your arms down. Shake out your hands. So when we give ourselves over to our practice, when we allow some time to just care for ourselves, we have much more to give to others. It's, the classic way that we can kind of screw up sometimes, right? Of, giving till there's nothing left to give. Inhale, reach your arms up, open the chest. So if you start to feel a sense of irritation, fold forward, relax your head. A little bit of resentment, anger toward other people who are asking things of you. These are cues to you that you need to replenish and take that boundary a little stronger. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Left foot back, right foot comes forward, coming into a lunge. Part of cultivating this sense of equanimity is knowing how you are inside. We can't really find ease and presence and detachment if we're not aware. Reach the arms back behind you, palms facing the floor. Engage your shoulders, engage your core, stretch your crown. When you're ready, lift the arms up to the sky or any other variation that you want to do in crescent lunge. Maybe your back knee wants to bend a little bit, see what's available. Open the breath up, lean back if it feels nice. Deep breaths. Exhale, hands down, back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Halfway lift again. Feel the bottom of your feet. Spread out the 4 points. Exhale and melt back down. Left foot back, left foot forward, right foot back. Hands can be on blocks or the floor. Feel the extension in your spine. Reach your crown forward. Enjoy your lunge. Get steady in your legs. And then when you're ready, take your arms back behind you. Stay low in your torso. Palms are facing the floor. Externally rotate the arm bones. Engage your triceps. Feel the shoulder blades. Feel your lats on the sides of your rib cage. Extend the spine. And when you're ready, rise up. Maybe bring your arms to the sky or any variation that's right. Ground yourself. Where's your neck? Are you all trapped up? Can you relax the base of your skull? The shoulders melt. Deep breaths here. Exhale, hands down onto the ground, dog pose. Spine gets longer, breathe deeply, melt into your hands and your feet. Find, the yielding, find the 4 corners of your hands. Let the head melt a little bit and relax. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Deep breaths here. How can you find that integrity of the center body without locking the breath? Is there ease? Can you find little pockets of ease so the breath can still move? All right, let's go ahead and bend the knees and slowly lower yourself down to the ground. Inhale, cobra pose. Let the chest open, the shoulders stay down. Exhale and melt again. Belly soft for a moment. Let yourself fall into the floor and then re-engage. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, come back down. Okay, let's find our way up onto all fours. Swivel around your spine. All right. Finding breath. Let's bring our right foot forward and come to a lunge again. Keep your left hand on the ground or on a block. Let's find a twist here. Feel free to lift your back thigh. Feel free to put your back knee down onto the ground. So really, no matter whether your knee is down or up, you can still be lifting your thigh. Feel the sit bones widen, lengthen through your spine. How are your shoulders? Can you move them down the back a little bit? Deepen your breath. Exhale to your twist. And then release the hands. Come onto the inside edge of that right foot. Runner's lunge, extend the spine, widen the sit bones, lift that femur bone. Great, and then bring your back foot forward and come into a pretty low squat. So let your torso drop down for a minute as you just get used to your hips, and then rise up, elbows inside your knees. Okay, so when you are in this posture, how wide do you want your legs to be? What gives you a sense of space? Deep breaths here. Drop all four corners of your feet down. Let your quads start to enliven, get some blood flow in there. Inhale, stand up. If you get dizzy, just tuck your chin and squeeze your hands. Exhale, back to a squat. Breathe. All right, let's put our hands down onto the ground. Step back to dog pose. Find your breath. Come on to your knees. Okay. Let's bring the left foot forward. Come into a lunge. Right hand comes down onto the ground. Back knee can lift up off the floor or stay grounded, whatever feels best for your body. We're twisting here. Shoulders move away from the ears. Hug to the midline with your inner thighs. Stay rooted and grounded with the 4 points of your front foot. Widen the sit bones. Let the breath happen on the exhale, or let the twist happen on the exhale. Exhale and release the hand. Come to the runner's lunge on this side. So take your knee to the outside of your hand. Stretch your heart open. Feel both compression in the hip joint and extension in the back. And bring the front foot back, dog pose. Take your feet wide on the mat. Turn your toes in for a moment. And let this just give you a lot of space to breathe. Can you feel the belly move? Okay, and then bring your knees down onto the ground. Bring your forearms onto the floor. Come into dolphin pose. So reach your hips up. We're just, trying to access some different inversions so that you really come into that state of dropping into the inner space of the mind, the ease. There's a lot of equanimity that can be found in inversions if you're comfortable. So I know this is a challenging pose in your shoulders, but see what you can do to feel that the ease in your face is there. Lift and widen the sit bones. Shoulders lift up away from the ears. Okay, and then let's walk our feet back and come into a plank, forearm plank. Hold steady. Okay. Gather up some strength through your torso. So it's not just hunching your chest and ears and shoulders connecting. Drop the shoulders down and let the core of your body engage. Inner thighs lifting up, soft knees. Feel your ribs drawing on your exhales. Okay, come down to the ground. Lift up Sphinx pose. Open chest. Exhale and melt back down. Pause for a moment. Put your forehead on your hands or turn your head from one side to the other, or one side or the other. Feel the front body rest on the ground.
Give yourself over, connect to the earth. All right, come back up onto all fours. Swish, swish your spine a little bit. Deep breaths here. Okay. All right, back to dog pose you go. Spine gets longer. Find your deep breath in and out. Let's walk our feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. We're going to come into chair pose. So if you like a block between your thighs, grab a block between your thighs. Squat down. Settle. Put your hands on your thighs for a moment and press them down. Feel the extension of your spine. Can you ground your legs? Can you feel the roots of your feet? When you're ready, reach the arms up. We're going to twist open to each side. Take a deep breath. Exhale, twisting to the right. The legs are staying neutral. Hug that block. It's nice to do this with the block, I think. Inhale, reaching the arms back up. Go the other side. One more time each side. Arms up. Stay in your squat. Exhale. Only go as far as your exhale takes you, as far as your ribs take you. Inhale up. Go the other side. Rise up, stand up straight and tall. Exhale, release. Take your hands behind your back. You can keep the block between your thighs if you want, or take it away. We're going to interlace the hands behind the small of your back, okay? And open your chest up. So see what it feels like to spread across the collarbones, to have even though we're internally rotating the arms, can you feel the shoulder blades drop down and the heads of the arm bones move back? Breathe well. Drop your elbows, widen your elbows. And then release and shake your arms out. Let's go ahead and grab a strap. Okay. We're going to take the strap over our left shoulder. Lift the left arm up overhead and then take the right arm behind you and grab that strap. So we're stretching the tricep on the upper arm, the left arm, and we're trying to figure out this weird internal rotation of our shoulder. So, my shoulders don't like this very much, so I try not to go too high with my hand up on the strap. Instead, I try to feel what my shoulder blade is doing. Can I drop the shoulder blade down? Can I open across my throat, my collarbones? And can I lift my elbows away from each other? And then relax and melt. Two arms up, big circle, and then platter the arms open. Just change the direction, externally rotate, and then switch sides. Take the strap over to the other shoulder. Grab on. Okay, so our top arm, our right arm, the elbows lifting up. The left arm's behind us. Notice, for many people, there's a little bit more ease when the left arm is behind your back versus the right. I'm not quite sure. I assume it's just because we live in a righty world. So spread open the collarbones. And as you move the collarbones, notice all you really are doing is pushing your ribs forward. So try to integrate the ribs and feel the shoulder blade move a little bit, the collarbones move a little bit, and melt into some sense of equanimity here. So don't go farther. If you have alarm bells starting to go off, then back away. Soften the knees. Okay, and then relax, arms up. Deep breath, spread out your wings, and then platter your arms open. So feel, this difference between internal and external rotation of the shoulders. Let the chest broaden, the collarbones are wide. Find your breath. Okay, let's take the strap away and go ahead and, as you're standing, turn to the long edge of your mat and turn your right foot out. Your left foot can be straight or turned in a little bit for our standing postures. Try plattering your arms for a moment. All I mean by that is palms are facing up. We're drawing them out to the sides. The elbows are close down toward our side bodies. Open the collarbones up. Feel the crown stretch. Go ahead and bend your knee and feel free to, have a little bit of movement. You don't have to just have one bend going on. Can you feel the integrity of your shoulders opening in this, very unusual way? And then release that.
and stretch your arms out and feel the ease. Okay, is there more ease this way? Do you want to put your arms down? You know, what's going to give you a sense of relaxation now in the upper body? Soften the shoulder blades down the back, still opening from your heart to your fingertips. Bend your knee a little bit, bend your knee a lot. Allow your pelvis to turn in whatever way is suiting you. Ground your feet. All right, let's go ahead and come back up. 2 hands down, face your feet forward. Pause here for a moment and just feel the width across your heart. Deep breaths. Okay, let's turn our feet to the left and start to find your way with platter arms into Virabhadrasana on this side. Ground your feet. So as you start to move your shoulders into external rotation, can you feel the connection to the spine? So drop the bottom edges of your shoulder blades down toward the vertebrae. See if you can spread across your collarbones, integrate through your core. Deep breaths. And then when you're ready, release that. Stretch your arms out. Collarbones stretching to fingertips. Bend your knee as much as you want. Let the pelvis turn as much as you want. Remember, if your pelvis is turning a lot, let your arms be straight out from your chest, so not turn back toward the long edge of your mat. You just want to be where your pelvis is. Relax the shoulders. Let the lungs lift and hold the shoulders. Press the feet firm. And then as you're ready, you can rise up. Relax the arms. Shake out your hands. We're going to come down. Now, this posture is not for everyone. I feel like I haven't done this in a while teaching it. So if binds just don't work for your body, they don't feel that great in my body, but for some people, they're really awesome. So I give you the choice to do a bind here. And I'm going to show you with a strap how to do it if your hands, arms don't connect. So we're going to first, let's just all come into Partha Konasana. First, just find that extension. Root your heel down, stretch your arm up overhead, and try not to swing the arm out and around. Try to stretch it right in front of you or even cross it in front of the chest to stretch your arm up. Feel the extension in both side bodies. Notice this under shoulder. Is it hiked up toward your ear? Drop that right shoulder blade down the back as well. Press your feet. Firm up the inner thigh muscles. See if you can get the underbelly of the pose to be active. And let's come back up. We'll do the same pose on the second side, and then we'll come into the bind. So turn your feet. Remember always, you can always support. There's so many ways to support. So if you have a knee that's a little cranky, you can use a block to support the posture. Open up your chest, stretch your elbow down or hand on the block. Find the length of your spine. Breathing well. Let the hip turn a little bit if it needs to. Feel the grounding of your feet. Unlock the back knee. Feel the underbelly of your pose. So press your feet into the ground to feel your hamstrings, your inner thighs, your glutes kick in, and feel the extension of both sides of your body. So the underbelly of your inner thighs as well as the underbelly of your left side body. Can you extend there? Let the femur bone go deep into the left hip socket. Arm can stretch overhead or wherever you want it to be. Find your breath. All right, and then when we're ready, we're going to come on up and out of the posture. So if you are high, if your pose is kind of up here, the bind gets very difficult because we end up pushing our butt out and kind of leaning forward. So your bind, if you are high, is to just take your hand behind your back and open your chest. And you can even do this pose with no hands and try to have some core support. But only do that if you're pretty high, if your knee is not very bent. And then if you are able to go a little deeper into the posture, then we can start to bind the pose here. So we're going to take the strap behind our back. And you're going to grab between your legs for that strap and the other arm behind your back finds the strap as well. So I'm holding the strap underneath my right thigh with both hands. Open the chest. That top shoulder, left shoulder is internally rotated, but can you still stretch open through the collarbones? Press your feet firm into the ground. Extend from the back heel to the crown. Open your chest. Stay breathing. And then when you're ready, take your time. You can stay there longer. And then go ahead and release the strap. Okay, so once again, as we find the pose on the other side, if your bend is a shallow bend, that's awesome. See if you can maybe perhaps have the bind in the top arm and stretch the arm up. Okay, and you can even go deeper. You can put if a midway point is to put your elbow on your knee and just find the internal rotation of that back shoulder without going into the full bind. So there's always ways to back off everything. If you're going to come into the posture, the strap is underneath you. I like to put it over my shoulder to start, and that way I can reach behind me, grab onto the strap, and hold on. So we are internally rotating with the top arm. You want to have that shoulder roll in, but the collarbone wants to broaden as much as you can. Find your breath, find the depth of your legs. Press your feet into the ground so that your hamstrings work. You need your underside of the pose to help hold you. Turn the pelvis a little bit if you need to. Open across your collarbones. Extend your crown and your back heel. How's your back knee? Is it bound up? Is it locked? How's your breath? All right, and then when you're ready, you can come out of that pose. That's a deep pose. So hopefully you found a way to modify it just for you. Swing back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. Let your shoulders relax. Feel the extension, feel the inversion. Extend your heart up toward your hips. Deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Rise up. Bringing the arms to the sky. Cactus your arms. And then as you cactus them, bring the elbows down. See if you can platter open your hands. Open across your chest. Take a deep breath. Okay. Interlace your hands behind your back. Hopefully this internal rotation feels comfortable after all the work we've done. Open the chest here. See if you can spin the heads of the arm bones back a little bit. Bend your knees. Relax your head as you lift your arms away from your spine. Deep bend in the knees, long spine, melt the neck. All right, and then relax the arms. Grab onto your elbows and have a little weightedness. Imagine there's weights hanging off your elbows. Deep breaths here. All right, and then let's find our way down to the floor. So as we come onto the mat, we're going to find bridge pose. I want you to think about your shoulders a lot in this posture. Okay. So we're opening up across the collarbones. Feet are firmly planted. Decide whether you want your legs a little wider than hips, in line with hips. Find the comfort place. And when we come up, don't worry about interlacing your hands. You can interlace your hands behind your back, but certainly that isn't usually a very good way for us to find the rolling open of the arm bones. So a lot of times when we put our arms behind, we have this very familiar feeling of the internal rotation of our shoulders. And now, because we went so extreme in that position, we want to go opposite. So unwind the hands, palms facing up, roll onto the tops of the shoulders, spin the heads of the humerus bones wide and out. Turn your humerus bones out to look out to the sides. Feel the rooting of your hands, and if that's not comfortable, bend your elbows and root your upper arms at least. Palms can be in the air. Either way, keep the neck. A lot of times when you do this action, the back of the neck presses. Neutral curve in the lumbar spine. Activate your legs. All 4 feet corners of your feet are grounded. Spread open the collarbones. Spread the chest. Spread the ribs. All right, and then go ahead and melt your way back down onto the ground. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths out. Grab your strap. Okay. 2 legs in the strap. Lifting your legs straight up. Feel the spinal extension. Move your femur bones away from your shoulders. Press up through your feet and down through your hips. Still wide through the collarbones. All right, let's put our feet down onto the ground. Cross your right thigh over your left. Actually, roll over onto your side and grab a couple of blankets or a bolster. Okay, and put these underneath your pelvis. So, a long fold of the blankets can be a nice thing. If you happen to have a bolster, bolsters are awesome, but I know not everybody has a bolster at home. Okay, our pelvis is going to come up on the bolster, our spine down. Bring your pelvis up on the blankets, right thigh crosses over left thigh. Draw your knees toward the chest. So unless there's some contraindication for you to round the spine, have a little teeny bit of spine rounding with your pelvis rounding, I should say, but extend the rest of your spine. So we're not hunched in our chest, we're reaching our crown. To get deeper into the hip stretch, you can walk your hands down your shins, maybe even onto your feet. Deep breaths. Unwind the feet straight up in the air. Feel the inversion. Open your legs wide, still feeling the inversion melt through your spine. And then we're going to cross left thigh over right thigh, knees into the chest. If you want, walk your hands down your legs to hold your feet or your ankles or your shins somewhere. You can also just stay holding your knees. So find the way the posture feels best for your body. Okay, and then unwind the posture again. Bring your knees toward your chest. You need a block for this next one. Actually, grab 2 blocks. Put one on either end of your blankets. Lift up your hips and scooch them to the right. Bring your knees up and drop them left. Stick the block on the low or middle or high height, whichever feels good. And you want it supporting either the outer knee or the shin. Allow yourself to move into this twist. We're a little bit inverted. The pelvis is a little bit over the heart. Breathing well. Can you feel the sense of equanimity? Detaching from results, from expectations. Being in the right now. If we can't rush our healing. We can't rush change. We can't rush anybody else. So just see what you can do to be here now. Great, now go ahead and come out of that posture. Feet back on the ground, scoot your hips over to the left, knees come up and drop your shin or your knee onto that block. Still widening the collarbones. The base of the skull is resting. The rib cage is free. Come back up. Okay. Neutralize the spine, bring the knees to the chest. So perhaps a happy baby with your pelvis on the blanket. Now, if you're not supposed to be rounding your spine for whatever reason, whether your bones, whatever bones in your vertebrae need some length, this may be not the best, but for a lot of us, it feels really good. Now here, I'm giving you a choice to move into shoulder stand and plow pose. If those are not, I'm not going to guide you through it. If those are not poses that you are very sure of in your practice and know exactly what to do to keep yourself safe, don't do them, because I'm not going to walk you through it. One of the great things about us being together in person, hopefully some of you soon with me, is that I'll be able to see you and really help you, guide you a little bit more specifically in what you're doing. So if shoulder stand and halasana are not in your practice, then we're going to do leg up the wall pose. So if you want, take the whole apparatus you've got underneath you, the 2 blankets, and stick them against the wall so you have some height. You're getting a little bit of an inversion. So if you don't have a wall available, do you have some furniture available? So I have this piece of furniture here, something like this you could use, where you could get up on the bolster and put your feet on the back of the chair or the front of your couch or your dresser or wherever you are in your house. Okay, so there's lots of ways of doing an inversion that has your pelvis a little higher than your heart without having to have a wall. Okay, so whatever you're choosing, be mindful, be aware, be present, experience the posture. If you're doing shoulder stand, smile the heads of those arm bones open, turn them to look out to the sides. Come into as much external rotation as you can allow. Hands are holding the spine, or holding the back, not the spine. Whatever you're doing, can you find the sense of equanimity? Inversions are a great practice for us if we are needing boundaries and replenishment. So if you're struggling with offering compassion and loving kindness, if you find yourself bitter, resentful, a little angry, these are definitely signs that you need to turn inward, that you need to have a boundary and care for self before other. So when we are practicing the 4 immeasurables, the 4 abidings, how are you with them? And don't shame or blame yourself if you get to a place where I can't be happy for this person who just got what I wanted. It's just a practice. Okay? So detach from your own sense of being able to do it. This is part of equanimity, and just practice. If you're in shoulder stand, you can bring your feet down and come into halasana, plow pose. If your legs are up the wall, feel the inversion. And for those of you who have come out, when you are ready to come out and there's no rush, if you're in a pose that you're really enjoying, stay. But when you are ready, we're going to come to sit for a moment. Okay, so if there's any posture you need to counter what you just did at all, take your time. You can find the seated posture in 5 more minutes or now, whatever feels good. We're going to move into kind of a Tonglen meditation, but slightly different. Okay, so our yoga practice helps us sit. It helps us have good posture. So make sure you have enough support of bolsters or blankets or whatever you need. Even blankets underneath feet can be very helpful. Sometimes I roll open my blanket to be long folded, and then I roll it like a snake, and I stick this over top my ankles and kind of underneath my knees so that I have some support. So do you so that you can sit with very good posture instead of slumping back and rolling back. All right, so as you find yourself sitting up straight and tall, has your practice given you a sense of self, a sense of equanimity, compassion, loving kindness towards self?
As you're ready, we're going to start turning these intentions toward others. Okay, so first, find your ground, find your connection to the earth, find your breath. And then let's have someone in your mind, and the person can change, but have someone in your mind that you know is suffering, that you would like to offer some compassion to. And this is often our tongue gland meditation, where we breathe in the suffering of another and we breathe out our loving kindness. So let's have a moment of this. In a traditional tongue gland, we start with self and we move out to someone close to us, and then a broader until we get to be able to do it to somebody that we're struggling with, and then the whole world. But for right now, just a person. Offer your compassion. Can your open heart, can you relate to suffering? Can you remember, even if you're not suffering right now, what your own suffering feels like? Even though this is not the same as somebody else's suffering, we all know the water of suffering, what it's like to swim in that pool. So hold space, compassionate heart space, and offer ease. Can you feel your connection grow to this person? This weaves the fabric between you. And now you can choose the same person or a new person and offer loving kindness. What does it feel like to offer loving kindness? We've all had a smile that we've given someone, deferring and opening a door and letting someone go before you, letting someone in the lane when you're driving, the respect you give to another human being, making eye contact. There's so many small ways that we can cultivate loving kindness, being a good listener. So whoever you're thinking of, can you offer in your heart respect, loving kindness, goodwill toward this person? And moving on to compassionate joy. So sometimes this can be a hard one. All of them can be hard sometimes. But find someone to think about who you've been jealous of, envious of, and see if you can, instead of feeding the jealousy, can you feed the seed of goodwill? May all good things happen to you. May you receive all the abundances of the world. May you have health and joy and love in deep measure around you. Offer a sense of respect, that you honor what this person is, who they are, that they've come to have what you want, or have accomplished something that you want, or whatever it is. And then lastly, can you try, if you are willing, to seek someone who you have discord with, that you are not at peace with? And can you feel a sense of equality, a sense of equanimity? Pass ease energetically between you. Detach cords. Allow freedom. Let's go ahead and put our hands over our heart. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Let it go. And then find your way into Shavasana. Now, as you do, you might need a little movement in your body as you lie down. Maybe your back's like, ooh, a little something is needed here. So if you need a twist or a movement of any kind, take that. Or just find your way onto your back. Support yourself in whatever way you need for a couple of minutes of Shavasana. Take great pleasure in rest. Take great pleasure in your breath. Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Allow yourself to move any way that offers freedom, renewal. Let's find our way onto our side, coming up to sit as you're ready. Let's offer these graces outward: compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Send it forth to others, to self. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.